Would you introduce yourself with your age, please?
Bob Joker, 72.
Okay. So, the first question that I want to ask you is, over your lifetime, how have you seen society change in regards to protecting the environment, like increase in recycling or wildlife conservation, anything like that?
Well, they did both there. In the 70s, they changed a lot of pollution laws and stuff like that to upgrade everything. And back then, the DDT was killing a lot of birds and
I guess a big
eagles, and I can't remember what else, but it ruined their.
Can you imagine?
The eggs with shells would be thin, and then they'd break before they hatched. And they had a problem with that. Now that's fixed. I think there's plenty of them now. But I never figured. I seen. Well, me and Danny went mushroom hunting. Seen that one over there
I think it means
at Markle.
Yeah.
well, I think they
Great
mean
big
that
old
it was
nest up in
balloon
a
crash.
tree. And
Yeah.
we seen that. And
Yeah. Usually they're only
they changed all the
2 to 4
pollution
people. 1 to 4 people.
on the cars, doing different things, trying to clean up the air. That helps because
Forever and ever.
Yeah,
anything. Yeah.
out of everything.
Oh yeah.
if a car don't have the pollution stuff hooked up, you can smell it.
You are
Which
just
is
a little
kinda
worm.
crazy.
I'd be
Yeah.
afraid if I had
It
to
just
worry
has a
about
different
you.
smell to it. They did that.
Did Fort Wayne ever have an issue with
Are you
smog,
still smiling
like
down
some of the
there?
bigger cities do?
Yeah, you still smiling?
Every once in a while I've heard, it's going to be 90 degrees and
I turned it up
this and
for you,
that,
but
and
I'm
it's going to
afraid
cause
Yeah.
smog, but as far as like some of these other bigger cities now, I don't think so.
Yeah. As far as the recycling goes then, so when you were a child, you didn't recycle,
Oh, no.
correct? Okay, and then when did you start recycling?
Somewhere in the
I have
80s.
allergies. I have to blow my
Early
nose 4 to 5 times a day. I
And it just kind of increased from there.
Yeah, that's what I say, your grandma's a militant recycler.
Yeah. Yeah. What about state and national parks? I was reading how those haven't always been around. Do you remember like the emergence of the state and national parks and why they did that?
They was pretty well in place then, when I was growing up.
Okay.
We used to go up to, Angola up there, Lake James.
Okay, good.
Goose Lake there north of Columbia City and places like that. There for a couple summers, us and another family, they go up there about every Sunday and have a picnic and just goof around.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as new state parks and all that, I don't remember any.
Okay. So just in Fort Wayne, do you think that they do a better job reducing pollution now than they used to?
Oh, I'm sure they do. Yeah.
What did they used to do with the trash
It was
before
easy to turn on. I
landfills?
just never do it.
Just dump it in the landfill.
Yep.
It didn't matter what it was, it went in the landfill.
Yeah. And you talked about them possibly like throwing trash in ditches and furniture in
Oh yeah,
ditches.
you'd drive along Country Road and it'd be bottles, cans, refrigerators, stoves, whatever,
Yeah.
And then there'd be a certain area, and for some reason that looked good for a dump. Somebody threw a lot of trash out there, and so would everybody in that area, and that'd turn into a dump. Yep. And then they got the landfill going there in Fort Wayne. I think that got rid of a lot of that because then they started running the garbage routes. There never used to be garbage routes. And people had a 55-gallon drum in their backyard and they'd throw it in there and burn it.
Oh, Daddy's got toys. Look at that.
They would burn their trash.
Yeah.
Do you think now that it goes in the landfills, does that help keep the air cleaner instead
Oh,
of
yeah.
everyone burning trash?
Yeah.
You already touched on the DDT that was in the 1970s. Do you remember any other time where pollution was a big problem, caused a different species to have issues, or, I mean, this could be like air pollution, water pollution, like killing fish or anything. The lake, you said something about the lake catching on fire.
Oh, yeah, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was being dumped? Was it?
I don't know. I don't know if they ever found out.
Okay.
But they thought it was funny.
And,
The lake was
but
burning.
I don't know. One of the other, Indiana always got blamed there in somewhere in the 80s and 90s, maybe late 70s. They always got blamed for pollution from coal, coal smoke going out east into the, like in the, out along the eastern seaboard, killing trees out there and polluting lakes, and so they came along and made all kinds of pollution controls on this stuff,
Yeah.
but don't hear that no more.
You're telling me stories.
Yeah. Well, maybe their controls are working then.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Okay, so for our generation, my generation, what has always been an issue that I've heard of is global
It was
warming.
fine.
So
Went over
has that always been around, or is that a new thing? And kind of like, how do you feel about global warming?
It's a new thing,
Okay.
Yeah.
and
And then had ice cream.
I don't believe it, because the weather can change, you know. It might be cold today, hot tomorrow, and a tornado the day after. You never know.
Yeah.
Identity that might.
So,
It was a one-dip ice cream
Yep.
cone. And it was,
Can you recall any global disasters, like any huge oil spills or anything like that?
yeah, they had that one in Alaska.
and a big,
That was really a mess. I can't remember what they call that no
they
more.
call it, looks like a,
Been quite a while ago.
when I go to think of names, I can't think as fast as
What
they.
is it?
Looks
Ship?
like a waffle cone, that's what it is.
Oh,
Like a waffle.
Ship hit something
Okay, I'm trying to think
and
too.
Yeah.
ruptured the oil tank, dumped X amount of gallons of crude oil, and they spent time up there cleaning up the birds and, you know, the water birds.
Yeah.
Exxon Valdez, I think that was the boat.
Okay.
It was a big mess.
Did that have a direct impact on you or like anyone that you know? Did gas prices or anything like that?
No, I'm sure it did because somebody paid for it.
Yeah.
But now,
You're bouncing on a tummy that